Good evening. For some reason, I always want to do kind of a vampire thingy. So one day I'll dress up as a vampire, but not today. But it is another dark stream, and I expect it probably will be for the rest of winter. But only Southern Hemisphere winter. I've done a grand total of 0 stuff since the last stream. So I think what I'm going to do here is kind of just check in everything, make sure it's all saved, because it's been a while since I've actually made any commits. So they apparently have even changed the robot animator controller. But to add another animator state, that might be adding the shield. Yes, for the block animation. So there's a lot in here. I'm not going to bother splitting it up. And that is the joy of working on a single dev project. There are downsides, but not having to worry too much about a clean kit history is a bit relaxing. So let's see. Oh, I'm going to introduce myself. So I am David from Fatal Pixel, and I'm working on a robot game, which I will show in a minute. But let's just make a commit message here. And this is basically, yeah, apparently I've added the shield and parts editor, no, blueprint editor. I guess that's kind of pretty much sums it up. There are a bunch of bits and pieces in there, but that's basically it. Now, I don't know if I've perhaps reached a new height in lack of preparedness for this stream. Sometimes there's just other stuff going on. And so my stream time is literally the time that I'm streaming, because I was accidentally cleaning the kitchen. Hypothetically, of course. And forgot that I was supposed to be doing a stream until somebody reminded me, because I did not have my phone to give me my usual reminder. Come on, magnifier, why are you taking a million years to start? Well, it doesn't matter, we can get by without that. So if I go to my little to-do list up here, well, it's a bit invisible without the magnifier. There's the magnifier, hello. Did I open 2 instances of you or not? Looks like just one, and I move that over there or somewhere. And yeah, that'll do. Right, so here's my little to-do list, which is just a game object with some nested game objects. Yeah, so I've got a few things to do here. So now, with the blueprint, let me run this, just check where I was up to. But basically, I've added this blueprint editor that allows adding particular parts, RoboParts they're called, which I'm set up to specify a bunch more as scriptable objects. But so far I have not done lots of them because it's just getting the systems in place at this point. So I've got the blueprint editor here. That is busy for longer than I want it to be, starting stuff up. So let's hope that that sorts itself out before too long. I have had Unity kind of sitting here while the computer's gone to sleep, and sometimes that's not a great thing. Sometimes it gets into a bit of an awkward state. But that's all good. So the basic premise of this game is you have a set of factories that are making robots. You, at the moment, use this fairly rudimentary routine editor where you give a set of commands for your robot to follow in order along this track here. And any robot that spawns from the factory, that one didn't because that's just one that I haven't removed, that's there by default. There we go. So robots spawn from the factory and they'll go out and they'll do whatever their command is. Let's use this one down here because it's just closer to the command track. So this is going walk, shoot. So that's what these robots do, and they just keep cycling through that. And if I want them to do like walk, shoot, and then block, well, these ones won't, but this one will because it's got that new routine. And perhaps that will give them the edge over the competition. That does seem to be working. So, well, until they do that, of course, but they're all destined to explode sooner or later. But the goal is to do some damage to the enemy factory while you're at it. The bars are a bit weird there because I've literally just rotated these 180 degrees to have them spawn the robots that way. For now, because we're in prototype stage. But that's the basic premise, and then the latest thing I added is this whole editor here, which you can use to, if I select this factory, you'll see that's got standard legs and a laser and a shield on here. And at the moment, that's about all you can do, except we're not really using the standard legs. So I'll just drop this basic, these are the budget legs. Haven't got any labels on these yet. I'll get that there eventually. But yeah, these legs only support walking straight ahead. Oh, a bit of weird lag there. They don't support turning left or right, which I'm not using anyway, so might as well stick with the budget ones. Not that it matters at the moment, because I've got two things to do. So one thing is, so the next thing to do is basically, say I have the set of actions, but I go and like remove the shield. So now the robot doesn't have a shield. These robots here will still be trying to do a block action, and I think basically just nothing is happening. It's running the block animation, but the shield isn't there, probably. If I were to look at the animator controller, I'll get that window open. Animation. Animator. There we go. So I'll just maybe drop that down here somewhere. I had it closed because it was hitting a bug of some sort. Right, so if I select a robot in the scene, so let me just get to the scene view and actually select that robot instance. There it is. Not doing any object pulling or anything yet. They're just so probably more garbage collection than I need. So this one's firing its laser, and I might just advance some frames here. So now, yeah, it's gone straight onto a block animation, and nothing's happening for that block animation. Oh, sorry, this is what I'm looking at here, the block animation. Is there a key shortcut to advance a frame to step? Don't know, but let's just unpause that. And so you can see it's walking forward, firing laser, and blocking in that order. And yeah, but the block isn't actually doing anything. So, but to demonstrate the real issue here, if I were to grab this and is that going to stop? Oh, cool, they've destroyed the factory, so now they're just running straight into the wall here. I'll do a few things here. I'll give them a turn left, and I'll start them turning left. Here you go, turn left, walk forward, turn right, walk forward, and then they can do like laser and shield. This one accidentally is walking in circles until it gets destroyed with collisions. I don't know how helpful that's going to be, but watch what happens if I remove their laser. And I can just put double shields, which doesn't do anything except it's the same as single shield. So now they're going to be doing the laser animation, which still spawns a laser. So even though they don't have a laser, they're still going to be firing a laser. So that's not on. That's not appropriate. And if they were to have their shield destroyed, which I don't know if that's going to happen with these guys, because they're kind of getting themselves destroyed first, but the shield can be destroyed independently of the bot, then they would still be attempting to block. I think because of the way I've implemented that, it doesn't actually matter, but I'll probably change how that works anyway. The shield just gets in the way of the laser and gets hurt by it instead of the robot. But yeah, if I implemented that in a different way, and I may have parts that are implemented that way, then I should just have it not work at all. So that's what I'm going to work on today, skipping actions. And then I don't think I'll have time to get to this today, but essentially just changing this routine editor so I think it'll still have all the actions here, but it will show in red any that are not supported. And so that way the actions can still be in the routine. You won't sort of lose the routine that you've set up, like have it messed up by removing a part and then adding it again. You know, if this got rid of the fire laser from the routine, then removing it and putting it back on would basically mess up the routine. So we don't want that. And then here, the other thing I've got is that you can see there are some resource bars here. We've got hit points on the factory and energy and metal and the progress of the current build. And those are actually being consumed, but just at a lower rate than they're being produced by the robot build. And the parts that you choose to put on will determine how much of each resource is consumed. So you might end up with a factory that's energy limited because it's making some very energy heavy parts, for example. And balancing that might be a good idea. And you may have a factory that's just slowly churning out very powerful bots versus one that's like quickly churning out basic bots. And strategies will hopefully emerge from that. All right, so what I need here is, I think, both blueprint and I'm going to duplicate this here because I also want not supported by intact parts. So that way, if a part is destroyed, like at the moment it's the shield, but I think I might make them sort of like mechs where each part can be destroyed independently of the others. So that would be nice. But let's start with the blueprint. Keep it simple. So I think I'm going to want a few elements here. But let's just go to the robot script. So what have I got here? I think I accidentally closed my one of my windows here. But which one? Windows ... no, not those. No. Not going to worry too much about that. Let's just jump to this and go to our scripts and grab the robot. Okay, so we've got a robot here, and we will have that robot doing actions. Oops, don't want to collapse everything. So yeah, we've got nothing happening on start because they have some stuff. We've got an update loop. We've got a fire laser. So that's where we actually generate the laser. That might become a generic fire projectile with something. And we've got some helpers and what have you. So the update possibly needs to get split up, judging by the fact that there's a bunch of that's the whole thing. Well, there's not that much going on here, really, is there? We're essentially figuring out if it's idle. Figuring out if the animator is playing. If it is playing something that is not the idle animation, then we're not going to do anything. Okay, and then we're starting the next action, incrementing the action index, and then we're actually doing that next action. So do I need to split this up? Yeah, probably. Am I using is idle and playing anywhere except here? No, I'm not. So just introduce a local for this, and we'll just call that acting. Oh, we're doing action. Oh, it is doing action because there we go. I'll call that is doing action. And now that's just going to allow me to just extract that whole lot into a method, which I'll call is doing action. I would call it is acting, but that sounds like it's doing some drama. You know, it's on the stage doing things, but that's yeah. I think is doing action is clear enough, really. So now we can just clean this up. We'll inline this, and it's clear enough. And inline this guy here. There. So now that guard is just much simpler. Now this is going to be updated, but do I want to extract? Well, yeah, pretty much this will be to perform next action. Do I just want a method that's just this switch statement? So I guess, yeah, for each of these cases, we'll probably want to have a check whether the action is supported. So I could do that in here, or I could do that as a separate method. I think I'll do a separate method, and that will just look nicer in this location here. So yes, we'll extract that as a method, and this will be called start action. There we go. And that one we can just call action. So yeah, we'll grab our next action. I wonder if it makes sense to put these things together. So like what to both get our next action and update the action index. Yeah, it's kind of like a pop of a array, but it's sort of moving the pointer along. So yeah, I think that could. I'll try and extract it to a method, and if I can't think of a good name, then it's probably not a good idea. I wonder, is there a oh, come on, browser. You can do it. Here we go. All right. So, action to like increment something. Sort of advancing a pointer and returning. Something like that. I'm just looking for like a good name for this. Yeah, I can think of one myself. Pop isn't great because it kind of suggests that this is an array that we're getting, like removing something from. I might actually see get. I think I might just call this get not next get next action, just next action or advance action. Yeah, advance action. Advanced routine. This is our routine, isn't it? Right now it's just linear. There will be sensors that give you actions to do one of two things, probably. Maybe more than two if I get a bit carried away with it at some point. But for example, like a proximity sensor that senses straight ahead some number of squares and will indicate, or basically flip to true if something is detected ahead, like an enemy is detected ahead. Probably different types of sensors to detect different things. So you could have them not walk forward, or only walk forward if there's no friend in front of them, and no enemy in front of them, perhaps. And I'll have kind of ways to loop back, probably something along the lines of a go-to in the routine. So I have like, here's, the marker number one, and here's go to marker number one on one of the options, stuff like that. But that's in the future. Let's just get some really basics working first. Should zoom this in so it looks a bit less weird on the magnifier. It's pixel art, but it's being anti-aliased in the magnifier, so that's interesting. Right, where are we? Okay, so next action equals advanced routine, so that's kind of advanced routine and get back the next action, and I can inline this, but I think I might not. So basically what I want to add in here is like check if the action is supported, and that's like on blueprint, and then like parts still intact, just shield right now. And then like maybe just do like malfunction. Instead of action. So right now there'll just be one malfunction, but it may be that I end up with a more advanced animator at some point where it will have like a different animation depending on the status of things, and I may even set up the animator to have some inputs and make some decisions. So like I could have like transitions that go one way or another depending on whether the has shield parameter is set. So I could add a shield parameter for each part that is on the robot, and then have the animations chosen based on that. And I could actually have the animator do this rather than the code. And that might be a good way to do it eventually. But I think for now I'll stick with not using the animator. Maybe. But it feels like it'll just be a simpler initial implementation to not do that. So I believe we have a routine, excuse me, routine set here. And I don't know if we're actually setting the blueprint. Yes, that looks like a robo blueprint for sure. Okay, cool. So we've got a routine and we've got our blueprint. Sorry, so yeah, that blueprint is the only thing that that matters here. So where are we? Just here. So basically, I'm just going to call my other function that doesn't exist yet, and this is going to be can perform action. And let's just put that in here. If not can perform action, that thing. What? Wrong thingy. Wrong parenthesis. Then yes, we might want to return from that. Actually, no, we don't. This one probably makes sense just as a else. Start action. Hey, sad moonchild. Ah, good question. Yeah, so this, here we go. We got that over there. So this is the question. Would it be heavy for performance to use routine in update? You need some fairly heavy code really to affect your performance in update. Like, yeah, you can definitely get things slow if you've got inefficient code in here. But in this case, like most frames I think these actions go for about a second, so about 59 frames out of 60. It's literally just going to be doing, this is doing action. Oh, and this is C# here, so we're not using JavaScript. So the C# compiler is very likely going to performance optimize this and basically end up with all of that being inlined. Probably reading the animator state from the animator is going to be the slowest thing. That's done every frame, and then most frames it's just going to skip the rest of it. And that is not very much work for a modern computer to do, so that won't slow it down. Every now and then it'll change actions, and by every now and then I mean like every second, and it's per robot that'll be doing this. But this is literally just a little bit of like basic arithmetic here. It's just like reading something out of an array and incrementing a number and doing a modulo on it. Nothing that's going to tax a CPU in any way there. So that bit's fine. What else? We've got start action is going to happen most of the time unless they don't have the part. It's been this wasn't installed in the first place or it's been destroyed. That's literally just a switch statement and calling play on the animator, so that's not going to be very heavy. And this one's going to be more or less just a switch statement and a few checks. So nothing very heavy happening there, but yeah, certainly you can get yourself into performance trouble by putting too much in here. But it's also not like, it's good to write code that's not going to have any major performance issues. But in general, most of the things you can think of to optimize for performance, unless you're very experienced, are not going to be they're not going to be things that necessarily matter. So you're better off just measuring your performance. So just write your code in whatever way is easiest to write it, and not going to be too heavy on performance. Like don't cause too much garbage collection, especially because that gives you kind of really janky performance issues. But if things are slow, then just measure it and see why. See what it's spending the time in, and often it'll be things that you wouldn't think of. So yeah, doing profiling is generally a lot better than optimizing, like trying to optimize ahead of time. Omega Killer, what have you added here? Now this one, what do you put on update, post update, or physics tick? Now, I'm not doing as kind of a physics heavy thing, but generally you want for you could have a situation where you've got your simulation running at some frame rate, and awesome, good. I'm glad that makes sense. Yeah, you could have your simulation running at some rate, like say that's running at 60 frames a second, and you want that simulation to run smoothly, and you want it to run consistently. Even if you've got users with different frame rates, like players with different frame rates. So someone could be looking at it at 15 frames a second, 30 frames a second, 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second, but you want that physics simulation to be consistent. That's when you do things on physics tick. So generally that's physics tick is going to be things like collisions and so on that are related to the interaction of rigid bodies and colliders. Although I think I've done some collision stuff in my standard update for the laser, and yeah, update. Your regular update is generally for display related things, and for handling inputs, because yeah, sort of your user is giving inputs based on what they see. So you usually want to, even if you're using the inputs in your physics update, you want to read the inputs in your regular update loop and sort of set some states for those that can then be used in the physics update. But yeah, I think On the other hand, you can just chuck everything in your regular update and do it like that. I think post update, you most of the time you won't be using that unless you're kind of, if you want to check something just in time, like just before rendering a frame. But I forget why you would do that. Yeah, but yeah, it is quite okay if you're not doing anything too complicated to just sort of start with putting everything in update. And then if you do have things that are happening, after a delay or sort of coordinated in some way, then you might want to start moving those out of the update loop, especially if you're noticing performance issues. So you can move things into coroutines. So you can basically just hand off some work and not check every single frame. Is it time to do this? But let another system that's got timers that are optimized handle that for you, and have your coroutine sort of come back up after and execute after a particular amount of time, or execute sort of to interpolate a value over frames, that kind of thing. That adds a little bit of complexity as far as language features that you're using. But that's another thing you can do. Yeah, but also just like, even if you are just putting everything in update, extract things out to methods to make it readable. So like this will be, I think, do I want to add a robot action called malfunction? Meaning an action that they could on purpose do and could be part of a routine? I don't think so. So yeah, I think I might have something else. I think I have some very quiet music still running here. That's funny. Yeah, I'm just trying to decide how I do that. See, I could have something here where I do have an action. Maybe I could have a malfunction action. What is this used for? Am I doing anything with this that would get broken by doing that? So yeah, I guess it's fine actually, because like these are the actions, and these actions are going to be added here based on the supported actions of RoboParts. Which we have some in here, RoboParts. Like we got the budget legs, supports the walk forward action, and the standard legs, which support walk forward, turn left and right. This is all subject to change potentially, the details of those particular parts, but if there are no parts that support a malfunction action, then there's no reason to display it here. And how am I determining what is shown there? At the moment, it's just manually. Sorry, that's the wrong thing. That's the blueprint editor. It's the routine editor here. It's the command palette. And yeah, at the moment, I've just manually created these. I will have these automatically populate from a list at some point, but that list can be derived from the list of RoboParts, which will be somehow input such that these can be auto-generated as well. But we'll get there. Okay, let me get on with this for now. So yes, I will. I'll do that. So that's kind of I guess that's the fallback action, and that gives me a better default action to do here. Yeah, so go there, add malfunction. I wonder if this is going to update this. Okay, because enums in C# are just backed by an integer. So if I were to put malfunction as the first action there, and that recompiles, does that mean that these guys are all going to have an off by one kind of set of stuff? Stuff's not the right word there. Off by one set of actions in their actions array. Let's check. Budget legs. Yes, that has the malfunction action. So I mainly want to append items onto here, but I like malfunction being first since it's the default. Actually, I think malfunction can go last. That will both preserve the ordering of the existing ones, and it will that's where it sits in the switch statements anyway. There we are. I could do malfunction equals -1. Yeah, I could. That might be a good idea, actually. Yeah, that's a good suggestion because then it's still an int. But -1 is often used as an error state, so that's fine, I think. And I think walk forward would have had a 0 by default, and it should still pick up 0. And let's just see how that goes. That's a good point. Best of both worlds. I get to put it first, and it gets to have an error code. All right. So now budget legs have got walk forward, laser has shoot laser, shield has block, standard legs have walk forward, turn left, turn right. I'm thinking of making block able to have its duration determined, but I could sort of have a short block, long block, things like that as well if I want. Sort of a few different options there. Or I could have like a shield bash action as well. Interesting. But we'll get there later. For now, don't need that. Won't get our malfunction action, so let's get on and use that. And that means that we can just do robot actions.malfunction here. And then I just need to generate that method. And I might just quickly make sure I add a case here. And actually this will be like, it'll be the malfunction action, but I'll also make it the default, so it'll just fall through to there. And I don't think I'll lock that. I'm just going to tell my animator to play malfunction, which doesn't exist yet. I think I'll make some kind of Sparks sprite to use. But I might also just make it sort of flash red. And I'll do that first. Guess I'll get my animator updated. No, I'll sort that out later. First, I'll just get this last thing implemented here. So basically, that's where I want I have done that. Do I want to actually set up that? Maybe. There we go. So these are the things I want to check. So look in the blueprint. So I think I basically want another switch statement here. If the light was on, you'd be able to see clean code sitting over on the shelf there. And I think they would say only use switch statements to decide which subclass to use for something. But this is game dev, and they did not write it for game dev. This is fine. So we're not going to play anything. We're going to check something. I think if the action's supposed to be malfunctioned, then we can return true. And we don't need break. We'll probably just return early from all of these. Okay, so walk forward. That's going to depend if we have a blueprint with a part. How do I want to do this? So we've got a blueprint, right? I've got all these different parts on the blueprint. Left arm, legs, right arms, and so on, etc. But what I really want to do is I want to iterate the blueprint to get all supported actions. And like I maybe want to do this when the robot spawns. Then just check if and probably stop when any action is found, something like that. Any part. So I could build up that list of supported actions initially, or I could go through the blueprint like right now. And I wonder, can I actually implement an iterator on my blueprint? So that's possibly not quite the right terminology, but it's a robo blueprint, isn't it? Yes, it is a robo blueprint. So let's have a look at robo blueprint here. It is a struct. Okay. All right. And oh yes, an omega killer. Good point. And I believe C# does it that way because C does it that way. So to be consistent. Now, what do I want to do here? I want to just do a bit more Googling. I probably should close some of these tabs. Hey, it's not a great habit leaving those open, but well, this is why I need a actually good AI assistant to help close things for me. C#. First of all, iterate public fields of struct. Can't do that. Iterating through struct members, loop through struct members. Okay, looks like a few people have thought about this before. and I've got, let's say we have a struct. Is it possible to iterate through? So we're looking at using reflection, which is slow, and that is the kind of thing I don't want to look at doing too much. Okay, so it's just, get fields. That's not quite what I want. So interesting. I could actually, this could be implemented as like instead of like this, it could be implemented as like a dictionary from this mapping, like a part name or a mount point name to a RoboPart. But that isn't what I've done this time, and for now I probably won't. Anyway, so I'm not going to be doing any of that. Okay, I'm going to update his solutions. Yeah, this is using that reflection again. But let's not do it like that. Can we instead like iterable? So basically the doing it as a dictionary could work. The other way though that I might just do is make it an iterator, either as an extension method or whatever I need to do here. And I think it's like iterable. Be something like this. Might do the trick. And that way I can just kind of specify, like when you iterate it, here's what gets returned, and then I can keep it as just a simple struct. So another great feature of the C# language enables you to build methods that create a source for an enumeration. These methods are referred to as iterator methods. An iterator method defines how to generate the objects in a sequence when requested. You use the yield return contextual keywords to define an iterator method. So this is the same type of methods that you would use for coroutines. So you might have yield return new wait for seconds 5 to wait 5 seconds. You don't have to make a new one every time, by the way. So if you're using a wait for seconds, you can do a slight optimization by just making your wait 5 seconds as a constant or something. Make it once. So that's kind of what you use in C# when you want to. Well, the main thing I've used it for is delaying an action. Just say like I want to do this in 5 seconds. So like for example, I know this animation runs for this long, so let's kick off that animation and also just queue up this object to be destroyed once the animation is complete, or something like that. You can also use them to have something that's happening every frame. So if you want to interpolate between two values. You could do that by using a field and do something in update method that will do it, but you can also do it using iterators and coroutines, which I will maybe show at some point because I'm sure there'll be a reason to use it. So yeah, like here's an example of one that will just basically give you numbers and it will do that, but I'm sure you could actually write that as a loop. Anyway, but yeah, that's doing that for illustrative purposes. Yeah, so they're doing that. Okay, cool. So structures can't have methods, can they? But is there a special name I can give this that will make it so that I can enumerate it? Like, can I just say this is a what do you do for enumerable? Enumerate. It's one of these. Which can you give me some docs or something? Let's just put enumerable and then let me just look those both up, eh? Okay, we've got a Internet of Things project, and the device sensors generate a very large stream of data. So my method is samples every nth. Okay, so we've got an enumerable T. So T would be the type of sample data. It's basically just a method that returns an enumerable. Collection.getEnumerator. Well, enumerated next. All right, so what have we got here? Collection.getEnumerator. Enumerator.move next. Enumerator.current. So enumerable implements getEnumerator, right? Just getEnumerator return. I think I just had. Oh, is this generic though? Can I do that and then say yes, we want to use collections generic and implement the interface, and that ends up with this. All right. Okay, so this is basically just this. It's just all of these things in order and just back to there. And I just want to replace all of these. Quick find, I guess. Replace. Okay, so just replace each of those. Replace next. Oh, I see. That key shortcut does something else. Opens an NVIDIA overlay, which I don't want. Okay, that's enough of those to replace. Yeah, I think that would actually possibly do the trick. And what's your problem here? Enumerable. Dot get enumerator. This may be because it is a struct. Which may be okay if I can just do it as an extension method. Someone seems to be possibly asking about this. Okay. Use an interface for the processor struct instead of the actual struct type. All right, so what do we got here? We've got an interface for data of T, enumerable, read data, write data. Oh, hey, Mega Killer. See you later. I'll see you next time. How am I going for time? Not great. Running a bit low. I hope I'll at least get this one thing done. But yeah, hopefully you can get back before I wrap up. Now, what do we got? We've got this data of T, read data. So that T would just be something else. Public. So they got this read data. Not sure if I'm trying to do something reasonable here. Let's have a look at. This might just be the wrong thing to do. Can you add extension methods to a struct? Yes. Good example. This int I and value. All right. All right. Let's look at that then. We'll just put this outside of that. Actually, is that going to even? So this is complaining that we don't have T is RoboPart. Robo Blueprint does not implement interface member IEnumerable. Get enumerator. Now this looks like IEnumerable. Get enumerator. But do we actually want that? Okay, so a couple of things. This needs to be public. Does not have the magic return type of IEnumerator of now if I just put RoboPart there, what's the problem with this? Cannot implicitly convert type RoboPart to RoboPart. RoboPart.cs8. Robo Blueprint 30. What? This is that's very odd. So that RoboPart is different from this RoboPart. IEnumerable RoboPart.get enumerator. IEnumerable.get enumerator. Does it just need one of those? Well, I guess when I said to implement it, it did put this there. Without that. This is a bit weird. I should probably look at the code for like. Okay. Oh, I see. So there's sort of two things we need. And that's part of the problem, I guess. So we got this one here. Which is identical to that one except for the access modifier, public. And this one here maybe that. I just start by copy pasting this and see if that is valid implementation. So that's the object version, that's the generic version. And if I slap a public on there, does that break this? Yeah, it breaks something there. But okay, does that do what I want it to? So let's just try my blueprint. There's going to be a RoboPart in the blueprint. Let's see if it. Let's see if that actually works. So it's part here. It's a RoboPart that appears to be doing what it should. So yeah, if it's no, then we want to continue. Let's check the next thing. And part dot enabled actions. We got contains, that's link. So if I bring in link, that kind of adds some overhead. Is that fine here? Probably. Let's just use it. I should be consistent with what I was saying before. If it is like worry about performance when that is actually an issue. So I can make a non-link way to do this. I'm going to do any, I'll just do contains. Yeah, action. So if we do contain that action, then I think we can basically just do return true. But probably want to also check the part is intact, but not yet. So for now, it's pretty much just do that, and then at this point just return false, and that's dead code. But then I want to check, like, if it's not in the blueprint, then malfunction. If it is in the blueprint, then check if the part is still okay for only the parts for which it's relevant. So that should be working now, except for the fact that I do not have a malfunction animation. So now it's time to add that in. Oh, that's nearly the end of the work week, so that's good. All right. All right, you animator. Need to make a new state. And this will be malfunction. And this, right now there's none. Let's make a new one. And can I select a robot? Just to encourage this to be a robot animation. Not 100% sure how these decide what they should include. Anyway, let's go. New animation. Where's all the animation stuff? Yeah, animation. Robot. Excuse me. All right, we got robot malfunction. We'll grab that into our animator. Just there. Should be able to find this there. Okay, and we'll go from malfunction straight to exit, just like all the others. Pop that down there. I think I might arrange these more like this, because it's just going to be that much easier to see which animation is running. There we go, got those guys. And malfunction is the special case, so it can go here. But it's going to be the same deal as these guys. So it's got this transition here. We should call it exit at 1 with no transition duration. So that's cool. I think that's basically all good. It just needs the animation to actually exist. So there's a little robot here. Let's just get in and have a look at this animation. We want the malfunction. And just make that a bit more that size. So we want this to go for a second. And what is going to be affected? Well, to start with, I'll actually do the color of that sprite. So we're going to grab our sprite renderer and I'll make it kind of go a bit red. So yeah, this one, the color. So add that. Okay, so we've got keyframe here and here. Do it kind of flashing, so let's like maybe go here add a keyframe. There. So go on, off, on, back to off, red. I might make it flash faster than that. How's that going to feel? Well, let's start here. Let's just go in record mode and grab our sprite renderer, grab this color and just go like red. Not that red, but that red, hey? That should do. Just copy that value there. Which frame are we at and why? That's good. That's right. This one we want red. Just paste that there. So go red, white, white. Excellent. I don't know if we're like animating between those at all. Let's just check. No, it's sort of doing that. Can I mess with the curves on that? So if I wanted it to be basically solid red until just here, I could give it a new keyframe. Just go to this one here. That's the wrong color. Wait. Go to this one here. Copy my color. I might already have it in the buffer. I don't know. Paste that there. So now it will be consistently red. And then just add another keyframe right there, which will have the white value. Oh, do I need to copy and paste white? I think I can manage to approximate it. There we go. Goes white, and it goes back to that color. And then we go back to white again, but let's add one more keyframe there where we stay this color. All right, so there's probably a better way to do that, really. Yeah, using these curves. So I think that is where I should be messing with this curve. So why don't I just do that instead, because I could use the practice. So I will stop recording, go to my keyframes. Go back to my dope sheet. Zoom that again to where it should be. There. Okay, so I'm going to just basically delete the little extra keyframes I added. Jump over to my curves here, and how can I zoom just the vertical? I think that's not what I want. Yeah. For one thing, I can just make this bigger, can't I? Nope, that's not changing the size at all. Maybe by here. Okay, and let me get that into the right spot. There it is. Okay, cool. There's my curve. I can actually see that. That's nice. Can I make that go down more? Yes, good. Can I drag that to make it even more pronounced? How did I do that before? Anyway, that's decent. All right, so what's happening here is my green and blue. Pretty sure. I'm going to be changing here. What do I do here? Do I grab blue? Add key? Is that a thing? Don't know what I just did. Is that anything? Okay, I've basically put in a keyframe for blue. There, I don't think I want to do that. Cheap viewers. Two at once with the same URL. Well, I appreciate the effort. I get to look at two profile pictures. Yes, that's the that's when you know you've been streaming for a while, when you get the bots spamming advertising cheap viewers. So yes, fantastic. So this is my red color. How can I get these curves to do stuff? Like, I think I could move this. Here we go. I would do that. Let me just undo that, though. Can I choose a different kind of curve to use? Like, I've got this thing here that I can tilt like that, right? But can I like swap it out for a different kind? Flat? Broken? Well, I don't want to do that. I kind of don't want like a curve here. Left tangent. I don't know what any of this means exactly. Free smooth? Whoa. I should be like playing this animation while I'm doing this to sort of see the effects of what I'm doing. But yeah, overexposing. There, that's we're messing with the alpha. We're making it see-through. Yeah, so this should be just nothing. Should not even be touching the alpha. Can I remove that component? Yeah, we don't affect that, and we don't touch the red either. In fact, so it's really just the blue and green that we're changing. Okay, so what can I do here? What are my options? Kind of broken. But if so let's see. That's clamped auto. It's just whatever that is. I do just broken. So that lets me do that one independently. Now, can I do this and then fix it over here? By doing something? No, I can't even kind of. Oh, what was that? Perfect. Okay, so I think I just need to make this one broken as well. Do I? And then that one's already broken. Can I get that one like straight up? There. Okay. So it's just magically, if you go like that, then you end up, instead of going to infinity and beyond, it will go where I want it to. So that's nice. So, all right. No, that way. There we go. That looks nice and square, which is what I want. Now that's the blue. So it's going to go greenish and wobble around, but same thing for green. Got green selected. Good. Got broken. That's right there. This one, break it and send it there. And this one. I don't know if these actually needed to be broken after all. But it seems to be working now, so let's see that. Yeah, that's good. Not fast enough though, so let's scooch up some of these keyframes. Oops. I do that. There are two play buttons. This one's nowhere near the other, but it's the one I'm used to pressing. So now we're running. And I guess we're going to test some malfunction code. This one's just sitting here malfunctioning. Hi, Mary Pond. I am working on getting the robot to malfunction when it doesn't have the appropriate part, which might actually be working now, because I just accidentally ran that instead of stopping my animation. So why don't we? This one's got a laser. Let's rip off all its parts. No laser for you. I'll give you a dodgy basic wheel as well, just for fun. And then it's supposed to be lasering, and it seems to be working. So that's cool. So it's just flashing red right now. I was going to try to speed that up a little bit. Oh, good, even more spam for best viewers. I wonder where they get these pictures. One day I might block those bots, but it's free engagement right now. As long as the noises aren't too annoying, then I think we're fine. But yeah, I've got to make well, running a bit low on time actually, kind of out of time, but maybe next time I'll write a little Spark sprite that they can have, so they're kind of sparking as well. But I will speed that up a little bit. Yeah, once I've got once I've hit whatever the thresholds are that that you need to for Twitch, then I'll probably start blocking those guys. But don't need it right now. Okay, so these basically, I just want to move them. Do these just drag? Yeah. So that was at 0.2. I'll make it twice as fast. And I can probably just duplicate some of the keyframes. What's that? That's red, white, red. So we're just going to duplicate this. Maybe copy. Let me try copy and paste here. Then this one. I probably could have just pasted that in multiple places, but oh well. Okay, let's take a look at that. Yep, that looks like it's flashing red, which is what I want. And it's happening at a speed. And okay, gotta break some more of these curves though. So this, for some reason, just has decided to do that instead of that. This, I don't know why you want to do that. Can I select both of these at once? Do the curves together? Because that's what I want to do. Look. I have to actually click on the node, hey? I don't think this one does anything when the other one's like that. Okay, that's much more square. Yep, that'll do right now for malfunction. We can tell it's malfunctioning. So that's fine. Oh, I've got one other thing that I should really do, which is get this blueprint editor and not have it over the top of everything to start with. And also this robot. Let's give this one a name. Any suggestions for a name for this robot? It's just kind of sitting here in the scene. It's here so that I can do stuff like select it to mess with robot animations. But I was about to remove it from the scene, but then I thought, well, good little guy. Boop. That is the suggestion that has happened first, and it is a fantastic one. So let's go with little Boop here. Boop has no gender. So Boop is just it, I think, is probably the appropriate pronoun here. Boop is a cute little it. And what have we got on Boop here? It's just walks and lasers. This robot never became work because they wake up when they come out of the factory. I'm pretty sure, right? Oh, I know. This is how you make work robots, right? It's easy. Like that. And then you just need to get the like Warcraft 2 Death Knight spawn sound. And so then they'll go like, I'm alive. Let's make it grammatically correct. Let's put that at the start. There we go. Now we have work robots. I'm just going to really mess with my console, but oh well. It'll be okay for now. Oh, we're talking Warcraft 2. Probably the Druid of the Claw, really. The sleeper has awoken. Or awakened? One of those. They really like their naps, I think. Unreachable code? Yes, that is correct. I did write some unreachable code, but that's because I'm going to do something with it next time. Which is basically, instead of just assume that the fact it's in Blueprint means that it's supported. Whatever's in my hair? I think it might have been something related to corn. I grew some corn, you know. Here's some. It's maize, so it's rainbow colored, and you can pop it like popcorn, or grind it into cornmeal. That is one of many jars. And I think I had a bit of corn husk related stuff. So that's interesting. Right. I think I'm basically done here. I was going to run this now that I've got that. And if they malfunction when their parts aren't supported, then that was what I was trying to get done today, which is that thing there. And then I guess that one's for next time because I am definitely at time and feeling tired. And this one, I don't believe it has any parts since it's not coming from a factory. It just doesn't actually have a laser or a shield or legs. And so it's just, it can't do anything. So it just malfunctions. It malfunctions until it gets crashed into by its comrades. Yes, we can test this, right? There's no right now. This editor just shows all the available things, and these actually have all of the parts. But we'll just maybe I think we can go right forward, left forward. There we go. So these will be doing something a bit interesting. And for some reason, the turns are not 90 degrees. Still haven't quite figured that one out, but I think I need to stop doing the turns using the animator and instead just interpolate them myself. Something weird going on. Anyway, if I now switch out their legs, has something gone wrong here? We've got all these. Well, they've definitely all woken up, so those work. But what about these guys here? These errors. Oh, I've turned off the errors. Let's turn off these. When did these happen? Oh, my factory is destroyed. That, I think, explains it. Okay, let's go to a factory that still exists. And unfortunately, I've lost that other routine. I do intend to add like a way to save routines so that you can kind of just make a routine and then use it across all your factories. Same with the robot blueprints. No reason not to allow that. So I got a bit too carried away. I was trying to make them weave back and forth, but let's just make them skip across to the next lane and go. And that's all well and good at first. No complaints. But what happens when we just don't have turny legs? There we go. Every time it's going to try and turn, it's going to malfunction. Perfect. And let's have it shoot and then block, just for fun. So malfunction, malfunction, and so on. I should add a wait action as well. That's like the only action they can do if they don't have parts. Just so that you can kind of get the timing right on things to coordinate them. And it could also be something like if there's something in front of me, then just wait until it's not there, and then go do something. Why are they not blocking? Do they not have a shield? They have a shield. It looks like they have a shield. Where's my animator for this? And where is a robot to select? I'll try not to get too carried away here with debugging. Got my robot right here. It's busy doing a malfunction. And it'd be nice if I had some visibility about what it's trying to do. Well, that's something I want to make the routine editor do. When you select the robot, it'll show the routine and also like what step of the routine it's on. That's something I could probably do quite soon. So I'll just advance this. Yeah. So we're just getting a bit of stuff. Did that? The shield just got exploded on the enemy one. Okay, we're doing walk forward. The routine should be walk forward, turn, which is this malfunction. It's going to explode before I get to see what happens, isn't it? And it walks forward again and goes up. Why don't I fix the opposing factory? So I'll just unpause that. We'll just get this factory to have a routine of, let's say, turn left. That should make things a bit easier to track here. So, and actually, they might just be not getting up to that part of the routine. Oh yeah, there we go. They're doing the block. I think they just weren't surviving long enough to actually do the block. There we go. That's a pretty good routine. Flash angrily at the enemy, and then take a shot and hold up your shield. It'd be nice for the shield to have like a bit of passive protection. Maybe have it positioned kind of halfway up, and then have an active block that gives it higher protection. Could be like kind of a glowy sword thing that uses power while it's blocking, and just gets bigger to do a proper block for some amount of time. But we'll block like lasers from inside as well as out, just to have a reason not to be permanently blocking. Although I guess power consumption's a reason. So where are we getting this null reference exception to? That's actually something I could look into. Weird lag leading to weird dancy mouse. That's routine selection. Okay, so that's blueprint editor instance. Apparently. And here. So this is really the blueprint editor instance. Is that just happening when I stop the game? Probably. Cool. Okay, that's working. Look at these wonderful malfunctioning guys. Let's maybe set that permanently as this factory's state. This factory here, this can be the malfunctioning factory. So we'll give it default legs of budget legs, but in the routine, do I have it? I forget if I had a way to set the default routine. Oh yeah, well that's the routine right there. So yes. So let's have them turn left, or attempt to turn left, and then they can block. So they'll have that extra little malfunction in there. There, that'll be nice. These are all the eddies. Make a little bunch of little robots, little malfunctioning eddies. Need a knife, really. Then you can't go practice their stabbing. So that's a good idea. All right. So this, we have that working. So skip actions when parts are broken. Oh, not even skip actions, malfunction. Now I can say I've decided that's how it works. Oh, sorry, missed that message. Yes, I grew it. I took kernels of it. This is the glass gem corn, and put them in the ground. Well, I put them in little seedling pods, and then when they had grown a little bit, I put them in the ground. I put dirt on there and water, and then, as if by magic, they rose up and didn't get eaten by pests because I put netting over there, because everything around here gets eaten by pests if you don't. And yeah, then after a while, there were cobs that I broke off and got stuff from. One of the games I will one day make that I've sort of started making is a farming game on an asteroid. The working title is Space Vegetable, which will be changed at some point, I'm sure. But at the moment, it just has a little guy in a space helmet. He doesn't have any other clothes because I didn't have time to draw them. So he's just kind of running around in mostly the nude on the surface of an asteroid, planting seeds. Plant seeds in soil. But that's just kind of early prototype. It'll basically have sort of domes or similar that you manufacture. And you need to kind of go out. I don't at the moment, actually. I just have regular colored corn, like yellow only. But I could have rainbow corn. I could add that. But yeah, the idea is you're kind of given a government grant to go and grow more food because humans have spread throughout the solar system and need more food. So you go set up on an asteroid with your grant money and build domes, build garden beds in there, and you've got to kind of you've got a machine that crushes up regolith into like inert soil, and then you need to add biology to it, which comes from compost, from a composting unit that you throw a bunch of stuff into, whatever you don't need, and also from your toilet. It'll be like that'll maybe plug into somewhere, or you get something from there that gets mixed in to kickstart the biology. If you've seen The Martian, then that nature of thing. And yes, you have to kind of make all of your soil and then start things growing in there. And you've got a sort of self-contained little ecosystem. If you want to order any new seeds, they get sent on a rocket, so there's kind of a high overhead. So you want to sort of make do with what you've got until you can afford to justify having an order. So you kind of have to propagate your own seeds if you don't want to keep having to pay for rockets to send you seeds, and then you make shipments by putting everything on a. Yes, I agree. Fantastic movie. They send your shipments off in rockets, so you have different contracts you can bid on to provide different foods, and your rocket might have some kind of pest in there that ends up setting up in one of your domes, and you need to get that under control, which might mean go and like open the airlock, let all the atmosphere out, and that'll hopefully kill off all the rats that are eating all of your tomatoes before they're ripe or something, if you don't have any other options. There's not an enormous scope, but to have a decent number of different vegetables, and there's a whole set of different systems, because there's the plant growing system, there's like machines such as your regolith harvesting machine and the crusher, that initially you just go out with a shovel and shovel stuff into the crusher until you can afford to get better machinery. There'll be machines that generate atmosphere so that you can keep your domes full of atmosphere. and heaters to keep things from freezing. And yeah, then the whole some kind of system for orders being made available to ship off shipments of stuff and try and make some money. And also, you'd have to eat food yourself, so you are at risk of starving if you run out of food. And also, it'd be interesting to add a system of sanity. So you just kind of need to somehow avoid losing your mind with the isolation. So you could have ways for your character to kind of get in touch with other people. Like a TV to keep up with news or various other things like that. But maybe also just like toys, get a little toy thing that walks around, or even a pet. That'd be good. Pet cat, that'd deal with the rat problem if you had one. And birds, actually. Birds can be good for dealing with insect pests. And then, yeah, the scope just keeps expanding if you think about it, because pollinators would be good to have. Bees are not great in an enclosed space as pollinators because they have an instinct, a very strong instinct to fly a certain distance away, and it's like much greater than the distance of like a standard greenhouse. But they want to fly away a certain distance, and then on their way back, they'll collect the nectar, and then if they because that way they're kind of going the full distance with an empty load, so that's more efficient. And then by the time they're fully laden, they're back near the hive, and then they can just take a short trip fully laden. So more energy efficient that way. But if you put a beehive in a greenhouse, the bees will all fly out of it and just fly into the edge of the greenhouse, and just basically keep bumping against the wall, trying to find a way to go further. And they could have plenty of flowers right in front of them, and they wouldn't touch them because they can't get far enough away. Although I guess if you're on an asteroid farming in space, then you could probably justify having bees that don't quite behave in the standard way. They might have been engineered. But there are other pollinators. Mosquitoes are pollinators. But I don't think that would be a first choice for someone who's kind of trapped in a dome. You would kind of need to let them bite you, actually, so that they get the nutrients they need to be able to lay eggs, reproduce. It might well be, yes. I think I would want to be wearing my spacesuit most of the time, if that was the case. Not just when I was going outside, but when I was in the dome as well. But yeah, you can make multiple domes as well. That'll be a fun one to make. But there are so many fun ones to make, so I'm not going to start it right now. I should wrap up. I've done what I was planning to do. I've probably talked long enough that I could have also malfunctioned when parts are broken. Just here. I think I'll delete that idea. If I think of it again later, then good. Can't perform action here. And yeah, this is just if you don't have the part. It'd pretty much just be at this point, like instead of return true, what do we do here? Because there's two things. There's I think I want to say if we have the part. Blueprint. Let's just initialize that to false. It'll be false by default anyway, but let's just make that explicit. And here we can just say pattern blueprint equals true. And at that point, we can probably also break out of our loop. I think you can break like next. Next would go to the next iteration of the loop, and break will that should basically exit this. And now at this point, we say if we don't have pattern blueprint, then we return false. Yes. If we do have the part in the blueprint, then we're basically going to say if it is a block action. Oops. This is going to have particular behavior, but we don't have any ability to destroy any of our other parts at this point, which means we're going to have the same behavior for most of these. And it's not going to be malfunction that we're trying to do. Yeah, at this point we know we do have it in the blueprint. I mean, from this point on, we do have it in the blueprint. So returning true will be a good default action, and it's also for all these. Only if the shield is not broken. And how are we going to do that? Do we have any reference to a shield here? No. So here's Boop. Boop has this shield here. And the shield is a hittable object, and it has HP. And it's got an explosion prefab. So what happens to the hittable object? Let's have a look. So we basically want to get the hittable object on the shield. And when we collide, we take damage. And when we take damage, we update the health bar. And if we do that, we're going to destroy it. So yeah, basically if that is not present. So we need to do what do I do? I just find I just want to find a child by name. Oh, I said I was going to do this next time, but I just changed my mind. Which is probably a bad idea. This is not a good evening for me to be running overtime. But I'll give it like 1 more minute, see if I can quickly get this thrown together. Unity. Get child by name. This looks like I've looked this up before. Transform.find. So what we're looking at. Finds a child by name and returns it. What's this for? Deprecated. Looks like the same thing. Find shield. What's that going to do with it? It's just going to return null. If it's not equal to null and it's active, which it should be. What's it called? Active. Yep, that'll do. It's deprecated. Active in hierarchy. Local active state. It's probably just the local active state that I care about. So it's not equal to null and then shield. Oh, I don't think I need if, I just need to turn that. I'm sure there's a shortcut to delete the whole line. There. So yeah, basically we have a shield that is active. Then that's true. We can perform the action, otherwise we can't. So that should be good here. And what I'll do is just get a factory making some bots that just do a lot of blocking. So hopefully those shields can be destroyed. So we can see what happens. And I'll get. Did I just start that and then stop it? I'll get the factory on the other side making bots that do a lot of lasering. Okay, so let's get you with blocking, standard legs, and yeah, just have shields only. And opposite one, let's get you with laser. No need for a shield for you. You can have standard legs as well. And you just do lasers. 4 lasers might be a good number. Just see if they run into each other too much. No, that's perfect. Okay, so let's do 4 blocks for these guys. Okay, so not do that instead. So you're blocking, shield is destroyed. I think that's too many lasers. I think I need to get these guys to like fire less, walk forward more. Just need to block for longer. Oh, did you see the malfunction then? Oh, let's have these guys also do something stupid like try to block because it's just too much lasering. They're going to destroy the factory. Oh no. Come on, shield guys. Try to save the factory. Oh, factory's destroyed. Okay. These guys then. You guys, shield, yes. You can have a shield and a laser. And just do a lot of blocking. Hopefully that will work. We're too combat effective. We need to make these guys be more aggressive. Alright. How's that shield going? That shield is... Oh. The guy blew up before the shield did. Need to get them blocking when the other robot runs into them. There we go. Brake shield, brake shield. I probably could just like do this. This is a shield. Hit points. 1. Okay. As you were. The health bar hasn't updated because I haven't actually had a collision to trigger it to update. But it has 1 health on there. So as soon as anything hits that shield, boom. Okay, now we go. Yeah. They're malfunctioning. So that is excellent. It's working. Fantastic. All right, I'm going to delete that because that currently works. As I update and upgrade the part attaching system, that will that should, like, this code here will be somewhat rewritten because there'll be probably a bit of a more generic way that the different parts are addressed, but maybe not. I might just end up with a big switch statement. If that works, then so be it. Anyway, I better call it. And go see if anybody else is still awake. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hearing my game ideas. I have a lot more. And hopefully I'll have time eventually to make all of them. Until then, enjoy the rest of your evening or morning or middle of day or whatever it is. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.